Kia's EV sales have, well, they've gone pretty ballistic over the past month. Why? What's going on with Kia? Why are their EV sales suddenly skyrocketing in the United States? Is an EV demand dying? Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. The Kia EV9. Like I've mentioned a few times, it doesn't have a whole lot of rivals. There's a few. There's the Rivian R1S. There's obviously the Tesla Model X. Both are a little bit more expensive than the EV9. And the EV9 is a real more traditional kind of, boxy shaped Toyota Land Cruiser shaped type vehicle. Doesn't really even look like an EV. I quite like them. I'm not a fan of Kia, the company itself. I mean, they're okay, but I don't have any sort of personal affinity for buying a Kia. Never have. Just doesn't do it for me personally. I do like other brands. I do have some real passionate. I'm actually more of a fan of Ford than Kia. Not that I'd buy a Ford Mustang Mach-E, that's for sure. But anyhow, Kia sales though and the Kia EV9 is really resonating with people. People are saying, you know what? I want one of these. Kia's prices are really good. Kia's prices in Australia for the EV9 are not very good. I believe if the Kia EV9 was priced reasonably in Australia, it would be selling like crazy in the same way that it is in the United States. Electric vehicle sales are not slowing down in America. In fact, Kia's just set its new sales record for the US. And keep in mind, Kia's internal combustion cars, their sales haven't gone up this year. In fact, they've gone down. So without their growth in EV sales this year, Kia would be a shrinking company. Sales of Kia's electrified offerings continued to grow despite the industry-wide softening in growth for all electric models, said Eric Watson, Vice President of Sales Operations at Kia. Eric, fire your ass, mate. You're a doofus, because this claim of the industry-wide softening in growth for all electric models, let's actually fact check Eric Watson. Eric Watson, I hope you've watched this video. You probably won't, but I hope you do. Let's fact check you. Okay, the month of September, all-time sales record, BYD global sales, 420,000. All-time record. Their previous record was 370, right? BYD in November, December, they will sell 1 million cars in 2 months, right? BYD are killing you, Kia. They are crushing you, right? So don't claim that EV sales are going down. What about Zeekr? They just said their all-time record in September as well. What about Xpeng? All-time record in September as well. Keep in mind, Xpeng and Zeekr, they're not just selling cars in China anymore. They're global car companies selling cars outside of China. What about Leapmotor? They didn't just set their all-time record. They annihilated their previous all-time record. In September, same month. Yep. I can name 8 different automakers who manufacture EVs who just broke all-time historic records in the month of September. So Eric Watson, before you spout nonsense and feed into this media narrative of slowing sales, don't look like an idiot, because someone's going to have to hire you your next job. At some point in time, you'll need another job. And if you say stuff like this and your new employer looks at it and they're like, Eric Watson, before you made these public comments, did you actually do a Google search? Your employer might think you're a muppet. Put it that way. Anyhow, slowdown in the electric vehicle market in America. Is it slowing down? Actually, no. Well, for Kia, their EV sales grew by 43% versus last year on the back of the EV9. Imagine if Kia actually had, other good models. I mean, the EV6, it's not bad, but it is a very polarizing looking car. Some people love it, some people don't. Depends on the angle that you look at it. Front looks all right. Sometimes the back looks very strange. Anyhow, delivery numbers for Kia. Having a look at it, Kia sold 2,100 EV9s in September. They sold 1,600 of the EV6. So Kia actually have delivered 16,000 EVs in the first 9 months of the year. They give you some context on that in the United States, which is a massive car market. Give you some context on that. There is unknown Chinese brands delivering more than that in a single month. A single month, right? So Kia, even though their sales are good and they've grown by 43%, they need to grow a lot faster than that. Otherwise, they will be disrupted. Now, keep in mind, Kia have been completely disrupted in China. And 34% of all cars sold in the world are sold in China. So Kia and Hyundai, they're very well aware, or Hyundai, as you guys say in America, are very well aware of the fact that even though their EV sales are growing, they're really not growing fast enough. And they are being disrupted. There's no mistake about that. Anyway, they said double-digit sales gains for Kia's EV and plug-in hybrid models prove Kia's leadership position as the industry transitions to electrification. I don't believe Kia have a leadership position in the EV sector in the US or China or Europe. So that's not really correct either. But anyhow, it is still good news, guys. Don't get me wrong. I shouldn't criticize them because at least they are growing. Kia's EV sales have grown so far this year by 11%. Oh, sorry, not their EV sales. They're up 43%. Plug-in hybrid sales have grown 11%. Now, really what Kia need, I think, is their new EV3 and the new EV5. And both of those cars will come with lithium iron phosphate batteries. But sadly, for Americans, they will be manufactured in China. Now, why is Kia making these vehicles in China? Well, one of the reasons is their factories in China are mothballed, basically. Their biggest factory, their Hyundai joint venture factory, that cost $1.4 billion. It did not make any cars. So Kia and Hyundai have both said, well, you know, we'll export the cars we make in China if they're not going to be sold in China. And that's a good strategy. I think it makes sense. But unfortunately, it does mean that Europe, they've got to pay tariffs and charges, etc., fees, a lot of them. Plus, they can't really export those cars made in China to America. So you have to wait for production of those vehicles in America, which will take a little while. Probably, I'd say around 2 years from now, you'll have them. That's one big thing, and I keep feeling a bit sorry for you guys in America. In a way, you have Tesla, which is awesome. You've got some great tech there. But honestly, the truth is, I mean, here in Australia, we're going to have access to insane tech. We have Tesla cars, which are great, but we have all these manufacturers coming in from China with some amazing product at such good prices. It's going to tear apart our automotive industry, totally change it. Manufacturers here in Australia are freaking out. So I understand why you guys are blocking the cars, but honestly, it does mean consumers have less choice, have less options. That said, the Kia EV9 at the current prices in America at around $60,000 and big discounts for the EV9, they're driving a lot of these sales. And honestly, I can totally see why someone would buy them. The EV9 I'm talking about because it is priced extremely well. So have a look at your dealers, call them, ask if you can get a big discount. You probably will be able to. Thanks for watching.